we're gonna, if there's like a limit to how many people we can have or anything, but we're gonna put it on YouTube just in case anyone wants to view it there. So if at any time you aren't comfortable sharing anything on camera or something, just let us know. We can accommodate that. Just kind of let us know. But just, I'll reiterate that again. But just let me know. Give it just a few more minutes for everyone to file in. Thanks so much for tuning in, by the way. Super excited about tonight. Some really cool things to talk about tonight. But if you're just coming in, if anyone wants to participate in our show and tell section, that's how we kick off all the meetings here. It doesn't have to even be specifically like game stuff. If you're working on any art things or music things or anything like that, any modeling like was just mentioned, then of course we'd love to share what the community is working on. They're really short, informal, like 5-ish minute presentations, and then we can open it up to any Q&A that anyone might have. If the creator has any specific feedback they're looking for, just kind of let us know and we can all kind of chime in. So I have a little list going on in the chat text channel right above this. So just let me know and I will add you to the list. Got that, Joey. I'll try and make sure I'm downloading it now. I think been a little while, but I think my system audio works here too. Make sure. If I here, let me do. I don't know if y'all are in the stream. Can you do a quick test and see? I don't think I can hear this. Can anyone hear that?
I can hear it.
Yay! Thank you. Great. I will keep that up and ready to go. Look at this technology. Wow. Complicated stuff. I will add you to the list. 25's a good number, so we'll just go in order. The way I have this, I will here. Awesome. Oh, no, for tonight. Here is our starting lineup for the show and tell. I'm also going to go ahead. We have this really cool, fancy feature that I have been so excited for. If you, I don't know if you have done this, but there's a little chat that's tied to the actual voice channel we're in, the Chat and Chew channel. I'm also going to post this in here. This is the chat that we should use just to kind of continue communicating throughout the meeting. We like to keep these meetings pretty conversational and things. So definitely, if you have anything that you want to share, just go ahead and drop it in that chat. I'm gonna drop the show and tell list there, and I'll just say as we're going through it, just here's our next presenter, and then you can introduce yourself however you'd like to do that. I'm really bad at introducing people, so I'll just be like next presenter, then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, we'll be working in or kind of communicating in the chat that I have tied to the Chat and Chew chat. Does everyone see that? Does anyone know what that is? Can you find it? It's kind of a new weird Discord thing that they're doing. If anyone doesn't know how to access that, you can post in the other chat, and we'll send you to the other chat. And we'll keep talking there. Cool, I think we should go ahead and get started. We have a lot of really cool things to get through tonight. I'm so excited. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming to our first meeting of July for Philly Game Mechanics. Yeah, this is a really exciting time because we're going to be kicking off our summer game jam, and we haven't done a game jam since, I believe, in March. So it's been a hot minute since we've done a game jam, so I'm really excited to get things going. I also want to thank everyone, by the way, who showed up to our in-person hangout party thing that we did. When was it? A week and a half ago or something like that? 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. But it was awesome. It was so cool seeing people in person. Again, huge shout out to Indie Hall for hosting us and letting us kind of take over this space and have a really great event with lots of great food and company. I hope you all really enjoyed that. I know I did. It was so cool, again, catching up with everyone. And we would love to do more in-person events. Of course, for the Game Mechanics, we used to do all of our events in person in the before days, but here we are now. So we'd like to get back to doing more in-person events. We'll talk about that, I think, going forward and figuring out the schedule. But if anyone has any leads or ideas or connections or anything like that, definitely we'd love to kind of have a conversation and figure out how to keep doing things in person, because we like seeing our beautiful faces. It's a little harder to have these conversations on Discord. So yeah. So thanks again to everyone who came to the in-person thing. It was so awesome. Okay, so before I guess we get started with the meeting tonight, we're gonna it's gonna be a stacked meeting tonight. We're gonna start with the show and tell, which is again a rapid fire kind of look at what everyone in the community is working on, and then we're gonna go into the game jam and talk about the theme and some of the things that we're thinking about. And if you don't have a team planned for the jam, that is expected and perfectly okay. That is kind of what today is for. We're going to have a quick brainstorming meeting kind of following the reveal of the jam and everything. And also an opportunity for anyone to introduce themselves if they would like. I know it's intimidating, like being on mic and everything is streamed and all that stuff. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But we'll have opportunities for people to kind of network in whatever limited capacity we can do that. So yeah. So before I guess we get started with show and tell, I do want to make a few announcements. Just to reiterate once more that we are streaming this on YouTube just for preservation's sake, so people can go back and watch the reveal and everything. but also just to reach a little bit of a wider audience for people who might not necessarily be in the Discord, but see our stream in other ways. So again, if there's anything that you don't want to show on stream, just kind of send us a message or let me know, and just kind of be aware that we are going to be streaming this to a community outside of this specific Discord chat. And then the second really important announcement is just to reiterate our code of conducts, or our code of conduct. I don't think we have multiple codes of conducts. That would be very confusing. So our code of conduct, I'm going to pull it up here. If you go to fieldofgamemechanics.com/code of conduct, we have this. It's also linked very conveniently right here in the rules section of our Discord. So definitely give this a read. It's very short, but it's super important because this code of conduct applies to our digital space and our physical space when we're in them. So we treat them the same either way. And it's really important for us that we facilitate a positive, creative, inclusive community for everyone to enjoy. So definitely please take a look. Okay, with all of that said, and we talked about we're going to be doing our chat primarily in the chat that's tied to the like stream voice chat thing. So if, again, you have any comments or thoughts or anything like that, go ahead and use that chat. It's primary. All right, I think with all of that, and then I guess the one other thing I always try and remember uh, uh, when the events are for IGDA Philly. Because I know that we do the first Thursday and the third Thursday for our meetings. Anyone from IGDA Philly? I know there's an event coming up. Does anyone want to say when that is?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I am driving at the moment. Thankfully, it was just a tap on the microphone.
I can do it if you want, Adrian.
Oh, Jason, I didn't know you were here. Okay, yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. IGA, we are, the international a chapter, the Philadelphia chapter of the International Game Developers Association, and this upcoming Tuesday at 7:30, it's July the 12th. Yeah, we are having a hangout night where we tend to talk about game development from a more professional, I guess, like, or whatever's going on in the industry or stuff like that. We'll put a link in the general chat later with more details about how to get to our Discord and hang out there. So next week, 7:30, Tuesday, July 12th.
Awesome. Thank you. And I do know that, oh man, that our friends over at sorry, I'm trying to find like all the info. Our friends over at the Game Makers Guild are doing a playtest. Is that today? Is that right now? Is that happening right now? It might be happening right. But Game Makers Guild is an awesome group that focuses on tabletop gaming, and they do really cool events. They're doing in-person playtesting events at the Board and Brew. So if you are into tabletop gaming and stuff like that, I know that they have really official setup for Eventbrite and all these things. So definitely check that out if you have any interest in that. And we'll try, these aren't organizations that are like really associated with Philly Game Mechanics, but we try and kind of pass along any game adjacent events that are happening in the area, just so people are aware of that. Is there anything else that's happening in the area in this week or the week after? Anyone know? If you do, I feel like someone was just saying that they were going to be showing a game in like New Jersey or something. If anyone has any events or anything they know of, please pass it along so we can kind of help signal boost those things. We love promoting any type of gaming event or in the surrounding area. Okay, I think with all of those announcements, did I miss anything? I don't think so. I think with all those announcements out of the way, we'll go ahead and dive right into the show and tell. And I'm going to kick it off. Oh, and let me get my timer. This isn't like a hard timer. So again, like anyone who has something to show, like don't feel nervous or anything. Super informal. But I'm just going to get a timer so I don't get lost talking about this because I could. Okay. Let me go ahead And ooh, there are so many windows. Which one to close? Not that. Oop. All right, I'm gonna start my timer now. So hello. Oh, I didn't introduce myself. Hi, I'm Tom. I do. I help run things here at Philly Game Mechanics, some of the events here. But I also have a studio called Gossamer Games, and we create a lot of different types of video games. And one game that I don't know if anyone has ever heard of or played is a game called Virtual Villagers. This is a game that I grew up with, and I chose it wrong. It's a little like God game type thing where you have this group of castaways who are stranded on this island, and you need to help them find food and build shelter. And the cool thing is, it's kind of like a Tamagotchi type thing where it runs in the background. And so, if 2 hours in real time passes, then your villagers will do things when the game is closed. Then when you come back, they'll have done things. I got frustrated with that over the weekend. It's again a very old game, but I was kind of going back and just got the itch to play it. And I wanted to sit down and play it, but I didn't want to have to spend like a week in real life playing it. And I hate doing the thing where you like the Animal Crossing time jump thing where you like switch the time on your operating system, or whatever. So like instead, I'm gonna make my own, which is like pretty nerdy game development thing to do. But I was like, what would a modern type of virtual villager type game look like? Where it's a god game about people being stranded on an island, and you're helping them survive. And so I didn't get very far because I basically worked on it the 4th of July weekend. But I did come up with some basic camera movements and some basic systems. And so I used a few different asset packs. So believe me, I sculpted the island using Unity's terrain tools, but I didn't create a lot of these art assets. All the materials and textures and things were from different packages. I got the stylized water from, I think it's just called Stylized Water 2 pack or something like that. And then this really cool time of day pack, which is Cozy Weather. So I really, really love, because not only does it do dynamic night and day cycle, but it also has a really, really cool weather system, which we might be able to see a little bit of rain and such. And it also uses like temperature and humidity and precipitation and all kinds of things like that to do simulations, which I think is amazing. So I worked, of course, on using Cinemachine to get some really cool camera movements where you can kind of orbit around your island and zoom in and out. And then I'm going to speed up time a little bit, figured out how to do a little time scale interpolation. Oh yeah, and it's raining now. See, it's really nice because it's February. Yeah, I guess it would rain in February on Tropical Island. I don't know. I can find one of my people. Can I find that? They're pretty small. So where are my people? Are they dead? Did all of my people die already? I don't think so. Well, I can also just do that. No, there they are. See? No, they're real. So I also created a system where you can bounce between all the different characters and see what they're trying to do. So Joe right now is going to check out the forest clearing, and in actual gameplay, they would be doing something when they reach the forest. Now they're going to go check out the dock, which is that beautiful little pink sphere. See, why didn't I see all my people before? They're all over the place, running around. So yeah, I was basically just working on creating kind of the interface and the navigation system for bouncing between all the different players, or the characters, I guess, not players. And you can kind of zoom in and out. The idea of the game, I don't know if you can see it because it's really dark and foggy. Oh, there's an island way back there. I don't know if you can see it, like way back there. But that would be objective, is kind of getting off the island, building a ship, getting off the island, and going on to survive. And so that's what I have. And then the only other thing that I will show really quickly is that my little characters here, this is made in Unity. they don't really do a whole lot right now, but I do have a bunch of systems that I built out for my characters, with a bunch of different stats, like their name and age and sex and all their different abilities, such as like a farming ability or a building ability or science or healing, what they like, what they don't like, which could affect how they their AI states, and then also their status. So their health, how hungry they are, how thirsty they are, their energy, and also their temperature, because that might affect if they're really hot, maybe they get thirsty. If they're really cold, maybe they get sick. Things like that. So I have kind of all the infrastructure in place for this, and yeah, I worked basically all of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I took the long Independence Day weekend and spent it doing a lot of work. But it was really fun. It was kind of like a passion hobby thing. And I'd love to go on and turn this into a full game one day. But we already have like 5 games we're working on. So this is probably going to go on the shelf for quite a while. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about what I have here, I'll take just a few minutes here to try and answer any of them. If you hear squeaking, that's my dog squeaking. Thanks everyone for the compliments. And yeah, again, I relied a lot on using some of the pre-made asset things. Cinemachine, of course, for the camera is huge because it allows for a lot of that camera blending. So I didn't really have to worry too much about that outside of just setting up the initial rigs and things. But I learned a ton about. I hadn't really worked. We just finished working on a game with 3D animated, fully rigged characters in Unreal, but I hadn't actually done that inside of Unity. So trying to figure out, we created the characters in Character Creator, and that's great because they come fully rigged with their bodies and their face. And so I was trying to figure out, I'd never worked on, for instance, for like does it even show this? Oh yeah, here I am. Figuring out like their animation states and figuring out how to do different animation layers. So figuring out like how do you make them blink, but also blend that with the facial expressions, but also blend that with their body animations and things of that nature. I definitely learned a lot from that. Do you have any tasks in mind to implement yet? I think for me, in terms of where I would start in terms of further development, the next steps for this project would be figuring out kind of what I want the gameplay to be. And the way I would figure that out is by deciding once and for all what stats I want the characters to have. And so if it's looking at, I guess, 2 sets of stats, one being their abilities. So again, building, farming, science, and healing, maybe. I think were the 4 that I just stole that from my inspiration game, but I might play with other things. And then their actual status. So hunger, thirst, heat, and what's the other one? I forget. Oh, energy, I guess. And designing, I guess, gameplay things around that. Oh, I forgot it. It's really important. You can also pick them up. I forgot to mention that. It's still like really pretty janky. So that would actually be probably the first thing I would work on, is coming up with a better system for actually like picking up characters and you'd be able to drag them onto other things. And so you could say, oh, I want them to try and fish at the dock. So I would drag them over to the dock and then they would try and fish. That's kind of the gameplay. That's really important to mention that. Would you fling them? You could. I probably don't want them to die, just because I don't know what I want to do with that system yet. I don't know if I want them to be mortal or not. If they should be able to die, I guess they probably should be, because that's a survival game. So, but yeah, I would start with figuring out what are the stats and the resources that I want the players to manage, and then figure out where in the environment or what types of puzzles or points of interaction that they would have in the environment that would affect those stats. And that's how I'd start designing the actual game. I'd say, okay, this little pink sphere here is going to be about building shelter. And they're going to need shelter because that's where they need to sleep. So that's where they restore energy. So I'd start going through all the different stats and figuring out where I need to place different environmental pieces that affect all the different character stats. And kind of, I think, from there, it'd be a lot of balancing to figure out the pacing of it, and figuring out, okay, well, how much XP do they need to be gaining, like per second or per minute, and then kind of going from there. So yeah, ooh, and that's my little timer, if y'all heard that too. So, yeah, if y'all have any other questions, let me know. This, again, is probably gonna be a project that I put on the shelf for quite a while, because again, we're already working on like 3 or 4 different games, so I'd love to come back to this one day, but for now, probably put it back on the shelf. But if y'all have any other thoughts or ideas or anything, in the meantime, let me know. This is just the very, very first prototype. So. All right, thank you so much for your attention. And yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to our next presenter. Take it away.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. All right. Hello, my name is Joey. I am a music composer. My background is in film, and I'm a professional videographer and editor, and I've been doing that for a very long time. But I used to do a bunch of music in high school, and I just kind of really missed it. So within the past 2 years, I've sort of picked it up again with a intent to write music for video games. So I've been involved in 2 jams with all of you, and it's been wonderful so far. But this latest one is from a different game jam. I hope that's not cheating.
No, of course.
This was for the G-Dex game jam. It's a Midwest gaming expo. And for this, the theme of this game jam was Erase. So the game for the team I was working with, they made a sort of obstacle course running away from a giant pencil eraser, and you had to race against time. And there was they tend to have like a what do you call it, like a paper style, like scribble aesthetic or whatever. So I wanted to make it kind of bouncy, but still like, oh my God, I'm running out of time. So that was my aim for this one. I composed 3 tracks, but this was the main gameplay track. And you can play it whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let me know if y'all don't hear this.
Okay, thanks. All right, so I don't know what to say. I'm reading the comments around. Thank you so much, guys. I really wanted to take this opportunity to sort of introduce myself because I really wanted to go to that the live meetup that was recent, but I got the flu, so I really missed out on meeting you guys, and I really want to participate in this game jam, and I thought this was a good opportunity to introduce myself and show off some of my music.
Thanks so much. Does anyone have any specific questions or comments or anything like that? And in the
I really
meantime, yeah,
like.
we're so sorry that you missed it, but definitely, hopefully in the future we'll have again more live in-person events and hope to definitely see you there. We have a question. What did you make it in?
I made it in Reaper. To answer the question, what were your main inspirations? This one was a real challenge for me because I usually tend to write really like moody music, very not very fast paced music, and really I percussion is something that I really was not trained in, so I've been really trying to incorporate more of that into my music. So I guess I was not so much inspired, but challenged to write something a bit more fast paced with some percussion in it to really match the style of the game. Because the game jam I was a part of, they randomly assigned you to teams, so I didn't even get like to pick the kind of the genre of game I wanted to write for. So it really challenged me to write something I was not I've never written before. None of it was. It was all composed in software, no live instrumentation. If there's no more questions, I will gladly pass the baton. But I really hope to once I get another chance to meet you guys in person. I've loved helping out with game jams in the past with you all. So and I really hope if anyone needs a composer for this jam, I'm right here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, definitely. I think hopefully the theme of tonight's jam or this new jam we're kicking off will definitely lend itself well to having some really cool music. So yeah, again, thank you so much for sharing. Awesome stuff. Clap, 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 clap. Yay, yay, yay. All right. Then we can go ahead and move on to our next presenter, which I believe is Quinn.
Yeah, hey, nice to meet you all. I'm Quinn. I'm a game design student at Drexel. I've been working on like some 3D modeling stuff recently. I just tried my hand at making a base mesh or a base mesh, but also just like copying that and making an actual character at it of one of my friend's designs. So I've just been like sculpting the body and the face and stuff in Blender, and like blocking it out. It's still like super early on, but this is the first time that I'm actually like happy with a face that I've made. So that's pretty exciting. But that's the whole thing. I'm planning on finishing it up, and then making a low poly version so I can rig it and then get it into either Unity, or I was interested in like figuring out how the rigging for like VTubers just works. So I was thinking of like learning how to do that with this character. Not to use it for anything specific, but just to like to learn how the systems work, and be able to do that for the future. But yeah, that's mainly it.
Cool. Awesome stuff. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. Um, yeah, I guess a question. I mean, I don't know anything about V2 rigging. I have like no idea. Does
Yeah,
anyone, I
yeah.
guess, here have any? I feel like we've talked in the past with some people doing some VTubing stuff. Do we have anyone here who has any experience doing that? I've only done game engine, and even then, I've dealt with automated solutions for doing rigging for game engine things. So, do we have any experts here who have any advice? So maybe some leads from some of the members here.
Yeah.
I was gonna I actually ask. I am terrible at organic modeling. Like that is really really hard for me. What was your approach for doing the face? I mean, you have the illustration as reference, um, but I know it's really hard sometimes to kind of translate like a 2D reference into like a 3D model. Did you have any other references that you pulled from, or what was kind of your approach for specifically working on the face?
Yeah, for like the basic face shape and like how to do certain parts like the mouth stuff, I had like a tutorial. Um, so I followed that a little bit. Actually, I can open like the different. Let's see. Yeah, but I did like this. Like, these are the different steps that I had, and then I just made the general head shape, and then started working on the face shape in conjunction, like right next to the thing, and then I got like a duplicate of the head to put it in the actual angle, so I could change the actual proportions uh, in reference to the face. The nose is definitely still fairly like there's a lot of the individual proportions are a little bit weird, but I haven't finished with the face, so I'm gonna go back and like get everything looking a lot more similar. But it was mainly just like this two tutorials that are like how like what tools to use in Blender to model faces, and then also just like having the head at the actual angle and having it update when I'm actually sculpting was really helpful. But this is like it's only my second time modeling like a face based off of a drawing, so it was definitely a lot of trial and error mainly.
Very cool. Yeah, it looks great so far. Just to echo everyone else's thoughts.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you guys so much. I will follow up on all these leads that y'all posted. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
awesome. Thanks so much. Clap, 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 clap. Yay, organic modeling is so hard, I know. Again, that's why I've only ever used like character creator, and I'd love to get more involved with like Unreal's MetaHuman and stuff like that. But I know that those use cases can be kind of limited sometimes. So it's really really impressive when people like actually know how to start from scratch and actually just model human geometry. It's incredible to me. Very cool. All right. Well, thanks so much again. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next presenter. Uh, I don't know how you pronounce your username.
Hi, I'm Mel. Sorry, my name is Mel Eager, and it's my name backwards. But, um, yeah, so basically, I don't have anything to share, like, on the screen or anything. But, so I go to the University of the Arts, and it is a very small art school in Philadelphia. And so I am a music tech major, and I'm really into sound design and kind of like technology implication, all that kind of stuff. And there's a really big problem at the University of the Arts itself where they love to promote collaboration, and the whole point of really going to this art school is to collaborate with other people, but there's absolutely no system in place that allows you to do that comfortably, I guess. So what they have is right now a Facebook group, which is very old. I mean, no one of the current student body uses Facebook anymore. And Discord, they have a Discord for collaboration, but unfortunately, it's really nice in theory. But again, it's like very niche, I guess you could say, for like the entire university to use. So again, no one uses it. So I really want to collaborate with the game art major, and it's really hard for me to do that and I want to work on their sound design. I want to do stuff with the animation majors, and for some reason, it is like the hardest thing to do, which should probably be the easiest thing to do at an art school. But yeah, so I'm pretty much trying to make a website. I figured this is going to be the best thing to really get people collaborating. I kind of need to make it as easy as possible to access just so people will use it. But basically, I'm trying to build a website where there will be a want tab. So people wanting to work with other majors, like how I wanted to work with game art majors. Let's say if like dance majors need headshots, and we have like all different kinds of art at UArts. And then there's a need tab where like I need a sound designer, I need a musician, I need anything really, and an index for professors and what they really do, because when I inquired to the game art major, there was like 2 professors on the website, but there's actually way more than that. So I wanted to make it a postable, kind of like a blog, and I pretty much just wanted feedback because I'm not very good at coding at all, and kind of wanted to see if anybody knows like where I could even start with that. Yeah, so there is no game dev club at UArts. There's only a game club where people play the games, but no game development club. Yeah,
this is an awesome idea. Sorry, I just was gonna say this is an awesome idea. And certainly, I mean, I know that we have. I mean, certainly, though, specifically on my studio, we've worked with people from UArts. What was that?
I happen to be a pretty good web developer myself.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have people here in this community who know web development things. I don't know if anyone wants to speak about best practices and whatnot in terms of like design, or if there are any kinds of pre-existing solutions that that could maybe serve as like even a prototype. Like I was just thinking maybe even like something as basic as like a Trello or something could serve as like a prototype, as like a wanted and kind of listing out those different needs and things like that. But certainly, I mean, I think hopefully there are going to be people here in the community who are either attending at UArts or are somehow involved in their operations. So if anyone has any ideas here, definitely feel free to chime in. But yeah, does anyone have any thoughts about design or existing tools or anything like that?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so I teach at UArts, so I could maybe help with some stuff. So there is like a there's like a game art Discord that you can kind of reach out to people. And I guess what I would suggest, so I teach sort of like juniors at UArts. So probably more towards like the end of a semester, they're working on like a project, and that's probably a good time, because then someone's making a game and there's not anyone focused on sound. So I think last semester I had some students that like reached out to someone that did some like music for like a game they worked on. So like sometimes around the end of the semester, like 6 or 8 weeks before, it's like a good time. Or if you reached out to like seniors that are making a game, that's probably like a good time there. At least in terms of like collaborating, I guess, with other students at UArts. But like also, yeah, just like a game, like I don't know, even just jumping into a game jam is like a good way probably here to like flex your like sound effect skills. In terms of like the website, I just for like ease of use, I would recommend maybe like going a WordPress route and sort of seeing, like, WordPress is easy to install and you might be able to get like a template to like have you avoid a bunch of coding. I'm sure there's a lot of other developers here that might have other suggestions, but like I would probably just look at like if you go to Envato, sometimes there's like very good templates that would like allow you to have a form and could like do maybe some of the back end stuff for you and sort of fast track some of that stuff in terms of like making the actual website. But that's a great just suggestion too, and I'll like pass that along to Eric about the collaboration and the website stuff in general.
Thank you for all the information. But yeah, I reached out to them on, I think, the Discord. I really love the idea of Discord, and like Discord's awesome, and I really wish everyone used it, but it's almost like something that's too new for everyone to really like sign up for, and I guess it's not very like beginner friendly if you've never seen it before. And yeah, I get that's just a big problem for it too. Thank you all for the suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. At like every university, just games in general, like games are so cool because they are so multidisciplinary, and it's always a challenge figuring out how do you like get a programmer and an artist and a sound person and a writing person and a marketing person and a business all in the same room together. That's really hard. So definitely best of luck with all that stuff. Hopefully we have people in this community who can help out with any of that networking side of things. But definitely in terms of online tools, if anyone has additional suggestions about either pre-made things or templates or anything like that, yeah, go ahead and continue to keep throwing those in the chat.
Sweet, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. All right, let me make sure we're still on track here. Yep, right on track. And yeah, we'll go ahead and then move on to our final show and tell presenter. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Take it away.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Perfect.
Okay. Hi, I'm Chris Colley. I've been a member for a few years. I was at the live one time, met a few of you there. Basically, this is a project I'm working on so first off, a little about myself. I'm a web developer. Occasionally I access the video game and then try to reproduce it in JavaScript. Usually give up about 90% of the way through. This project actually I think has some legs. I was hoping to launch it in the next few days, and I guess since I'm announcing it here, that's like a good reason to hurry up with that. Basically,
real quick before you say anything else, I don't know if anyone else is having this issue, but I am not seeing your stream.
Yeah, it's not starting for me either.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Is that right?
Try again. See it now?
Okay.
Is it not working?
The spinning dots of death.
No!
Let's can see it.
Let's try one more time. If not, maybe on a series of screenshots we have to do. That. Still no? Yeah, I'll try to go to the router too as well. Okay, I'll be right back.
Technology, yo. It's really tricky.
Okay. You see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. Like sitting right on top of the router, so hopefully it'll work better. Okay. So basically, I'm a web developer. I play a lot of Metroid. Recently got into Metroid ROM hacks, which is a people-modified original Super Metroid game to make custom games. It's really fun. So for fun, I built a mapping engine. This right here is the original Super Metroid game. You zoom in, this is like the landing site. You can see, there's all the various items. Basically, for those uninitiated, Metroid is a platforming game where you walk around, get new items which allow you to open doors and basically explore the area. This is a mapping engine I made for it. This one is the original Metroid. I also have the website, I should say, that this is Metroid Construction, free download hacks. there's like several thousand of these, and I would say 50 of them or so are actually like really worth playing, like full-fledged clones of Super Metroid, basically, with completely different layouts and stuff like that. I've got about 20 of them or so inside this engine. My favorite one is YPX, which is just another Metroid game. Actually, let me go back to Super Metroid for a second. Sorry, I should have prepared a little bit better. Yeah, so in addition to the way I did this was I used the map editor that I actually made, and then basically scraped the screenshots for the rooms and build a tool for aligning them all. So in addition to scraping it, this what you're seeing right now is like layer 1 and layer 2 composited together, which is like the foreground and the background. There's also what's called BTS, which is behind the scenes. This layer is how the game interprets the world. Basically, these are solid blocks. These are blocks you can shoot and stuff like that. There's another layer called PLM enemies, which is like the enemies and like modifications to the room where the items are and stuff like that. So I analyzed all these using just brute forcing it a lot of it, and then also using a little bit of machine vision to make this layer here, which is the walls. So I actually have like the full geometry of the game in here. Everything that's gray is places you can walk on. Here's like blocks that you blow up with bombs, you know. Over here you can see like these are doors you blow up with super missiles. These are normal doors. These are blocks you'd shoot. Yeah. So I have this is the original Super Metroid game. There's about 20 or so, I guess more like 30 ROM hacks here. Most of them are incomplete. My goal is to have 10 of them like fully fleshed out before I launch this weekend. Yeah, like this is YPX, which is probably my favorite ROM hack. You can see like the arrows. The problem is that I basically like kept adding features to this. So the arrows are my attempt at like making it so that I can like track my playthrough, because like people in speedrunning, it's really useful like planning your maps and stuff like that. So I need to actually spend some time like cutting off some of the features because there's just too many of them. But, basically, yeah, this is another ROM hack, and then there's, you know, Nature's another popular one. Yeah, so there's like, I have about 30 in here. And yeah, that's my presentation. Any questions? Alright, I breezed through that pretty quickly, so let me know if I need to repeat anything.
So sorry if you said this, but how do you get this info? So can you rip this information right from the ROM, or like, yeah, how are you getting
That would have been a much smarter strategy. Basically, the way that the ROMs work is that they're modifying ROMs, you know, read-only memory. So they're literally like modifying machine code. Instead of doing that, I use the editor they built, which is it's written in Visual Basic forms. So it's like it's written in code that won't compile unless you go 3 versions of Windows back, because Microsoft abandoned the language. So I basically use that to set up an auto-hotkey script, which goes through and scrapes the individual layers. Specifically, there's this is layer 1 and layer 2 composited on top of each other. Then there's a layer called BTS, which is behind the scenes. And then there's a layer called PLM enemies, which is like various creatures and whatnot. That's the original.
Okay, so the geometry and the sort of like game logic is scrapable, but did you say the like, you know, the actual you know, art, the pixel art, is that, did you say you got that from
Yeah, so that's what layer 1 and layer 2 is. Layer 1 and layer 2 is the foreground and the background layers.
Got it, okay.
So in the map editor, you can modify these 4 layers: layer 1, layer 2, BTS, and PLM, and enemies are actually 2 separate layers, but I exported this one because they don't contain a lot of information. And then I'm basically just compositing layer 1, layer 2 to make the actual map itself. And then I processed BTS using just by slicing this into 16 by 16 pixel chunks. And then I labeled what all these little things mean in the editor. Made it so that I have a whole separate interface for like basically ingesting this stuff. And it takes me about like 4 to 8 hours to like load a game into this, which is where like if I would have gone the route of like learning how to actually understand how the ROM hacks work, it may be taking me less time. It may have, you know, that may have been like a master's thesis level project, since the actual map editor is it's the work of like hundreds of people over the course of 2 decades, right?
Yeah, that's still really, what you've done here is still really cool.
Yeah, so the way that like the PLM enemies, for example, like basically if I hide the items, it shows like this is all that's in this room right here is just a pack of super missiles, right? So it's pretty easy to find the super missiles. There's some places where there's like enemies and items on top of each other. So I had to like learn Open Computer Vision Python package just to like separate the sprites that are overlapping. That's how I get the items. Also, the reason why there's like green arrows in some of these views is basically my next step. Like I said, I have way too many projects that are piling on top of here. The next step is to process like speed runs on YouTube, actually map where people are in the game based off this engine. So literally like track their paths. Like this path was like entered in manually here, but you could imagine it'd be really cool if you could actually like see how the routes progress through the different levels and whatnot, and like compare room by room to different speed runners is like sort of one of the more ultimate goals. But yeah, I've basically cut off my ice box in Pivotal because I don't want to work on this for the next 5 years. I got to publish it. Any other questions? Cool. If nothing else, I will use my time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Really, really incredible stuff. Oh, it might.
Oh, I didn't mention. Currently it's at Maptroid. So the game's called Maptroid. Maptroid.unrest.io. Right now, there's just a copy of the map for Metroid Dread, which is the first thing I did with this. That I made by basically screenshotting. I think I took like 3,000 screenshots of the map on my Nintendo Switch. Transferred them over to my computer and lined them up manually. So it's kind of ugly. But the goal with that was to eventually vectorize it, but I never got around to it. Yeah.
Cool. Any other thoughts or comments or anything like that?
Question for you. What would
Hey,
you
go for
say how do you go about the creative aspects of designing levels?
That was for me. I didn't design any of this, so like these are all like maps that were taken from the Metroid ROM hack community. Like I said, there's technically thousands of maps, but I would say like 50 or so of them that I've played personally, I'd consider like just completely separate games that just happen to be made in the Metroid engine or the Super Metroid engine. And then there's also ROM hacks for games out in Super Metroid that I haven't played as well. It's really actually kind of interesting because like it's 20 years of culture since the game came out, people like modifying this over time. Half the I would say about 5 or 6 maps that I really want to have in my map editor don't even load in the map editor anymore, so I can't load them into my engine because I can't parse the ROM files like I'd like to.
Any other questions or thoughts? I mean, that's incredible. So I mean, outside of Unity and Unreal and stuff, anything outside of that where it's lower level things like this, I am mesmerized. I have no idea how any of this works. It's incredible.
Well, my day job is web development, so I make similar things professionally, which I guess is a nice kind of plug. If anybody, if a video game company ever wants a map editor, that is definitely something I'm interested in working on.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing all your stuff, and thanks to everyone for showing all your amazing things and ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, again, this is my favorite part of game mechanics, is just seeing what everyone's working on in the community. It's always so different and so cool to see. So thanks everyone so much for sharing your stuff. Yay! Big round of applause to everyone. I just assume everyone's clapping. Cool. All right. So with that done, about right on time, right at 8 p.m. That's kind of our target. I did want to give a really quick opportunity for anyone. We're gonna again kick it into this game jam and do some announcements and things. But before we do that, and there's always a scary thing to do, I know, so definitely don't feel pressured or anything. If you would rather just type in the chat in the introduce yourself channel or anything like that, feel free. But I did want to give this stage to anyone who would like to just give a really, really quick introduction. If this is your first time in the community or the first time at a meeting, if you just want to just say hello and just say like what you prefer to be called, your background, and maybe like your favorite summertime game. Again, you can either type that in the chat, or if anyone wants to jump on the mic and do that, feel free to just jump out. I'll just give this like a minute for anyone to do that before we get into the Game Jam kickoff, because it also gives me a minute to pull up my presentation, which I think I have done. I feel like I'm doing a school presentation or something. I'm nervous. But yeah, does anyone want to introduce themselves?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jackson. He, him. I went to Drexel, actually graduated back in 2018. I think we did meet at one point in time, way back when. Once upon a time. But yeah, no, I graduated from music industry program with specialization in tech. I do sound design, I do music, mostly orchestral and electronic stuff, and definitely a bigger emphasis on sound design stuff and mixing and editing nowadays. So yeah, I'm pretty new to this community. I've never done any events with Philly Game Mechanics. Post-COVID, I did a couple of the global game jams back in like 16 and 17 with pre-made crews, but I'm here by myself today, so excited to see who I can meet, see what fun we can have.
Awesome, thanks so much. Anyone else? And I'm stalling for time a little bit because I'm trying to pull up the presentation, make sure I have my notes and all that stuff. So give me just one more minute here. So many. All right. Dang. Set up and ready to go. Yeah. All right. Can you all? Oh, it covers the. Oh, okay. Well, my face can go away. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. I worked really hard and found some really good stock photos for this presentation. So please appreciate that. They look really nice. I don't know who the artist is for this, but I got it off the stock website, so they did a really good job. Oh. So welcome to. Oh, hold on. One more. Where'd my window go? A little notes window. Sorry, y'all. It's really hard having like a broadcast thing and like a billion windows. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Philly Game Mechanics Summer Jam. Again, we haven't done a game jam in a little while. Of course, Philly Game Mechanics, we used to do jams. I feel like it was every month for like years. I think it was like pretty consistent. We do lots and lots and lots of jams. And then COVID happened, and then we didn't know what to do. But we're trying to get kind of back on the train and doing some jams again. And we've done a few. We did the Global Game Jam in the beginning of the year. And then we did the Power Jam back in March. And now we're back again in July with our Summer Jam. The theme isn't summer. I'll talk about the theme in a minute. And I was trying to think, like, game jams are really weird and really hard to do. in kind of remote quarantine and again, we're kind of moving out of quarantine and figuring out what life is again, but it's really hard to have like creative discussions and things like that, like over Discord and things like this. So we're still trying to figure all this stuff out. Towards the end of this, when we reveal the theme, we're gonna break off and go into like a shared whiteboard type thing and kind of doodle all over it and maybe get some ideas going and stuff like that. Certainly this Discord is going to be used a lot for networking and finding teams and such. We'll kind of talk through that and how all that will work. But game jams are really hard, and we're still trying to figure out exactly the best way to do it. But we did at least want to give it another shot and to do something a little bit different and special, specifically with this game jam, and I'm really excited. So that's actually the first thing that I want to talk about. Is the new thing that we're going to try. And I want to emphasize that this is something we're going to try. It's something that I've actually been talking to people about since back in January. So for like a really long time, I've had this idea kind of in my head, and I was like, what would be a really cool way to incorporate this into the game jams? And back in the day, for all the game jams, we have a community vote. So everyone who plays the games at the showcase will have an opportunity to vote, and we'll actually probably keep the voting open like through the weekend or something. So we'll have a public vote to decide what game jam is the entry is the winner. And in the past, we'd have really cool things. I forgot, because I never got one. Because I never really tried to get one, but we had like really cool trophies and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do like a prize, right? And to have like cool reward for all the hard work that people put into these things. And I was like, what would be like a cool prize to try and do? And something popped in my brain about Steam, and I was like, it'd be really interesting. A lot of the games that we do, we have everything set up through itch.io, which is kind of, you know, a more indie-friendly version of Steam, I guess. It's a lot easier to kind of set stuff up. But I was like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could get your game onto Steam? And probably wouldn't be on the front page featured because no one can do that. But maybe in like the new releases feature. We're going to try a little experiment, and the winner of this game jam, decided by public vote, is going to have the opportunity, if they would like to try and do this with us, to have Philly Game Mechanics publish their game on Steam. And we think that this could be a really, really cool thing. So in terms of like what that is, what we're trying to do is break down the barriers of putting people's games onto Steam. Because to put your game on Steam, you have to be incorporated, and you have to have like a company structure, and you have to pay the $100 developer fee and all of these things. There's a lot of like stuff, like logistic, business, legal, terrible things that you have to go through to get your game on Steam. And we're trying to basically bypass all of that stuff so you can have your game on Steam, which would I think would be really cool. So in terms of what this would actually look like, it would be Philly Game Mechanics listing your game on Steam, covering the $100 Steam direct fee. Of course, the creators retaining complete, full ownership over the game, over the idea, over all that stuff. That's none of the intention is to strip away any of that creative power or anything like that. And this is kind of the schedule that I thought would be really cool. And it's kind of cut off, but that's okay. Where today we'd be kicking off the jam, of course. Number 2, which is the right, it got cut off, but we'd be doing the jam showcase. So 2 weeks from now, we'd be doing a jam showcase. And then I thought it'd be really cool if we were doing this all as a community, all working together to create game jam entries and things. And I thought it'd be really cool to do the actual Steam setup, the process of setting up the Steam page together as a community, so we can all work through, sitting down and entering in all the descriptions and putting all the screenshots in and just walking through the entire process of putting the game up on Steam. We could all do that together as a community. I thought that'd be awesome to do 2 weeks after, so the meeting after we decide the winner of the jam. So on August 4th, we could do like a Steam stream of setting up the page. And then it takes, once your game is on Steam, it has to be, the page itself has to be reviewed by Steam. And then I believe it has to be up on the Steam store for at least 2 weeks before it can actually be released. So then 2 weeks after we do that setup stream, we do the actual like little launch, which would kind of coordinate hopefully perfectly. There might be like a day or two off or something, but we'll figure it out. For actually launching it on Steam, we're having it like be officially available for everyone to download and stuff. So that would be kind of the showcase or the celebration of the launch. I'd love to do that in person. If there's like any way in the universe we could make that happen, that'd be really cool. But yeah, and so I guess why is a question, like why do this? Why not just have them live on itch? Because itch is way easier to put it up on and everything. But as someone, so I, for my company, work with, we're probably gonna have positions open soon at Gossamer for some projects and things. And as someone who handles interviews and things like that, it's always just really, really nice when someone can walk in and say, hey, here is a game that I worked on and it's on Steam and here's the link to it and you can see it right here, you can download it, you can play it, add it to your library, it's right there. That is like so useful. And I was just thinking, in itch, you know, having it on there isn't that different, but there's just, for some reason, some kind of extra clout or credibility or just professionalism that you get when your game is on Steam. And so, again, it's really, there's a lot of logistics and business and setup that you have to do to actually get your title uploaded onto Steam. And so we thought, hey, we could kind of handle all that stuff or let teams bypass all of that setup and just let them have the benefit of having their game up on Steam, and they wouldn't have to worry about trying to do all that stuff. So, and then you could start playing with ideas like wish lists and things like that. So, and also just as an educational experience, we think it would be a really, really cool thing for just everyone in the community to kind of walk through the process together and see how it all works. And then hopefully when you all are going and launching your games on Steam, you would kind of have an idea of how the process works. And then finally, how is kind of, I guess, like one of the last questions. We're still trying to figure out the specifics of, in terms of, like, are there any business things or agreements that we'd have to have? The one thing that we know is that whoever is kind of the winner of this jam, this is certainly an opt-in experience. This isn't something that you would like be forced to do or anything like that. If your team would like to explore this with us, we'd love to try and work with you all on doing it. But we want to make sure that everyone is on board. Of course, the creators are fully in control of their IP and their ideas and anything like that. If at any time they would want to not have the game listed or anything like that, we certainly want to accommodate all these things. We don't have like the exact written languages or like all the details written like in stone in a contract or anything like that. But that's something that we want to work through together. And so if anyone has like any, like, I'd love to do like an FAQ, right? Like, is there any common questions or anything that people have? I'd love to start building that up. So if you all have any questions, definitely please let me know so we can start kind of building this out and figuring out how to communicate our vision for this. But at the end of the day, we think this could be a really, really cool opportunity. Again, super, super great to have on your portfolio, to bring up in an interview and say, hey, here's a game that I worked on and it was published by this little community organization that we have here. Like, that is a really cool thing to say when you're in an interview for any kind of professional position or on your portfolio or anything like that. So we think this could be a really, really, really cool opportunity for people if they want to do it, and if they don't, that's totally okay too. But yeah, we think as a community, we could all learn so much from this, and it would be so amazing. So I wanted to throw that out there to kind of as an incentive or to help entice people. I think this could be a really cool opportunity for people. And again, especially, I mean, for students or people looking to get into the industry or anything, again, having a title listed on Steam, doesn't matter if it's, and I think something to also iterate is, it wouldn't mean that the game jam entries here would need to be created with the intent of being like a commercial project, or to like really increase the scale to try and compete with other commercial things on Steam. Like, that's not the intent with this. It's more just providing like a bigger spotlight onto the jam entries. And yeah, I think this would be an amazing way to do that. So that is what we're going to try with this jam. So again, I think for students or professionals looking to have something on their portfolio or anything like that, I think this could be a really, really, really cool opportunity. So that's what we're going to try. Fingers crossed, we'll learn so much together throughout the process. And I'm especially excited for the opportunity to kind of sit down together and help build the Steam page like live in person and kind of go through that process. So I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to see what we do with it. So yeah, that's what we got. And definitely, if people have questions or anything like that, throw them in the chat. I'd love to talk about some of those as we keep moving here. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and continue with our jam reveal here. It's summertime. It is hard for me to believe that it is already July. It's already more than halfway through the year, but summer is finally here, and I got summer vibes. I got my big glasses on. You can't see them because I don't have my camera on, but yeah, when I was coming up with the theme for this jam, there wasn't a whole lot of thought that went into it. It was just like, oh, it's summertime, and here's some really blurry stock photos of summer. And I know, of course, one of my favorite things to do during summer is going camping. And I don't know about y'all, but I think that marshmallows taste the best when they are like fully charred and completely on fire and burned all the way. And so I was thinking about camping. I was thinking about just summertime experiences and things. And an idea kind of stuck with me that I feel like this is in a lot of games, but it's something that I feel like a lot of games don't fully explore or haven't really fully explored, and that is fire. And so, and as people are saying, this idea could already be a game. Well, guess what? Here's an opportunity. The theme of this jam is fire. I typically like to, when I do game jams, I like to do something a little bit more restrictive or have some kind of like direct gameplay implication or something that's a little bit more focused. But with this jam, I wanted to keep it really open. And so I wanted to just kind of leave it open-ended and have you all make games about fire or featuring fire. And so, of course, I think The Outer Wilds is, a game where you do exactly this. I think you can actually burn your marshmallow. In The Outer Wilds, I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know if you can eat it. I think you can. I think there's like a sound effect for eating the marshmallow. And so that game definitely reminds me of all of this. I never played this, but Little Inferno, I know is a game where you like burn a bunch of stuff, which is yeah, I guess a good thing to teach children. I don't know if this is a kid's game or not, but and then of course you have like firefighter games, and so there's so many opportunities. I wanted to ask you all to kind of throw in the chat here, or just pop it in voice chat if you'd like. Do you all have any good examples of either mechanically or aesthetically or thematically or anything like that of fire in games? Do y'all have any ideas about anything, any references that you've seen? And yeah, fire could be, again, the interpretation here is wide open. You can interpret fire as passion. I'd be a little bit maybe of a stretch to do like fire as in like a firing a gun or something like that. Like maybe that could work, but yeah, I mean the interpretation is very wide open. But the Fire and Ice levels in Katamari, yes. Katamari, it has so many cool mechanics. Yeah, Skyrim. I feel like a lot of like fantasy games have, you know, the fireball magic spells, things like that. Firewatch is great. Does Firewatch? So that's a game that I've actually never played. Does it have fire? Does it like actually? Does it ever show fire? I was gonna put that on here, but I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if it actually has any fire at all. Oh, forest fire. Oh. It's suggested in Firewall. Interesting. Also, I mean, very topical that, you know, I think there was a forest fire like in New Jersey last week or something. Very topical. Dante's Inferno. Yeah, I imagine there's probably a lot of fire in hell. Burning Rangers, a game about sci-fi firefighting. Oh, interesting. Is it in space? No, it's in space. Fire in the Long Dark? Yep, for sure. Fire in SimCity and in The Sims, of course. Which is always, like, funny and also sad. Fire Pro Wrestling World? What? I was just looking at a game today. It was, what was it? Chris knows. The game where it's the baseball game and they catch on fire and beat each other up. That's a pretty cool game. Slugfest, yeah, was it MLB Slugfest or something? Yeah, like the Sub-Zero is playing baseball and he catches on fire and goes and beats up the pitcher. It's wild. Yeah, and Zelda, of course. Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, certainly games have a long history of incorporating fire. It'd be interesting to know if anyone can think of games that use fire mechanically. So in Zelda, I guess, I mean, certainly as like a light source, and maybe like in puzzle solving and things like this. But does anyone know of games where, oh, I think someone had mentioned, what is it? Noita. I don't know how you pronounce that. I know I've seen that. Is it Noisha or Noita? But I know a system that has a lot of really cool systems that, where fire is more than just like an aesthetic. It's, I think, kind of more of like a system or something like that. It sounds like, yeah, Breath of the Wild has some of those dynamics too. Yeah. So lots of ideas there about the use of fire in games. I thought this would be a really cool jam thing because we talk a lot about kind of juicing games or kind of polishing them, adding a lot of visual effects or sound effects or just adding a lot of effects that make it feel fun to play and kind of polish everything up. And I think fire is one of those things where it's just really satisfying to watch fire. And it's really satisfying to like watch things burn and stuff. And I thought that could be a really cool central idea that we can kind of build everything around. So that's the theme. Again, there wasn't like too much thought that went into like choosing the theme or anything like that. I was like, oh, it's summertime. There's campfires and things. Oh, let's do a fire game. Are there any games where you play as fire? I was trying to. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, you could do like a friendly fire, and it would be like a little flame with a really cute it'd be a really cute little flame with like legs and a mouth, and they'd be super happy and everything, and they'd be running around being a friendly. But that totally already exists. So, but if everyone wants to play off that idea, go for it. But yeah, so this is the Fire Jam, and we're gonna be running this from now until July 22nd, or sorry, July 21st. So we have right about 2 weeks. It's really important to note that you do not need to work like every day of your life for the next 2 weeks on this. It is totally a time commitment that you can choose whatever time commitment you want to do with this. Just kind of be upfront. If you're working on a team, just kind of be upfront with like how much time you have to put into this and all of those things. But yeah, just as long as you have something turned in by 7 p.m. on July 21st, yeah, it'll be eligible for the judging, which will open up again to Philly Game Mechanics, like the server and just the general public for Philly Game Mechanics. We're not gonna like publicly publish the Game Jam on itch because we kind of wanted to keep it within the scope of our immediate community. But we'll open up the voting for anyone who would like to try that. The showcase is going to be on July 21st at 7 p.m., so that's when the games are due. Again, I don't know. Is it because I'm like full screen why it's cutting off? That's okay. We have an itch.io jam page already set up, ready to go. And so that's where you're going to be kind of submitting your entries. And so, yeah, the schedule is we're kicking things off right now on July 7th. On July 21st, we'll have the Jam Showcase where we'll start the public voting. We'll go and stream playthrough everyone's entries. And then we'll choose the winner. We'll have the voting open through, again, that will be on a Thursday, so we'll have it open probably through like Sunday or something, give it through the weekend. And then we'll collectively decide the winner, and then whoever does want to move forward with setting up a page on Steam, if anyone's interested, then we'll start that on August 4th, which would be the next Philly Game Mechanics meeting, and we'd stream that all together, which would be really cool to kind of sit down and walk through the process all together. And then 2 weeks after that, we would do the actual launch of the winning entry on Steam. If all goes well, fingers crossed, right? So that's the general schedule. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, and here's a really good gift that I found. Does anyone have any immediate questions before we jump into some initial brainstorming? No questions. I explained everything so well. I see people typing, so I'm gonna give that like just a second. And in the meantime, I'm gonna close this. Get ready for this other thing. That's a great question. I haven't done online games before. How do we find groups? We are going to... So we have the Game Jam channel here in the Discord. That will be one of the main places to do the networking here. Let me see. We're going to kick off a little brainstorming exercise here. So if anyone wants to kind of start networking and forming teams, now would be a great opportunity to do that. But moving forward, we'll have the Game Jam. When, as people are starting to form teams, if someone does want to have a team and have a channel for the team here in this Discord, we can go ahead and create that, and we'll just put it in. Do we still have like I think I have all the Game Jam channels. They're just hidden. I have all these secret channels y'all can't see. We'll create a group chat for all the different teams, and yeah, we can continue those conversations there. But definitely using the Making Games channels is a great place to keep track of all that stuff. And the Game Jam channel in particular is a great place to do any introductions and networking and matchmaking and things like that. Cool. Any other questions? Huh? All right. I am going to share a link. Oh, I already have it. Oh, can I do like does that work? If I do like an @ here, I don't know if that even. That probably doesn't even. I'm gonna try it. Cool to shared. Oh. Well, sorry people who are here but not here, but you're gonna, I guess, get that message too. I thought the here would only do the people who are like actively in this thing. Sorry if anyone got that. Who didn't want to do this, but this is a shared little whiteboard. I want to take put on the timer, like 15 minutes or so. If y'all have any ideas at all that you would just want to jot down, anything that comes to mind, any references of games, any mechanic ideas, again, you can interpret this thing however you want, thematically, mechanically, aesthetically, I don't know, character design wise, like whatever, however you want to interpret that. Write down any ideas that you all have, and we'll kind of here in a few minutes just kind of go around and just read some different ideas, and if any ideas are kind of like really interesting, we can kind of facilitate people connecting. You can write like your contact info or something, and we can start kind of seeing what types of things people are interested in doing, and then again continue to with the networking set of things. I don't think we're gonna. Last time in the past we've tried to do breaking down into like small groups and like doing a lot of networking like that. I don't know if we're gonna try that this time, just because there's quite a lot of us and that's gonna be a lot to facilitate. But if we do want to do that, we can kind of reconvene and do that at the end. But I think for now, we'll just kind of work on this whiteboard thing. Give it like 10-15 minutes. I'll jot some ideas down myself, and yeah, we can kind of review everything then. And then in the meantime, if anyone has anything they want to just jump on and chat about real, feel free to do that. I was gonna have music too that was all about like fire things and burning things and stuff, but I didn't do it. Sorry.
Hey, I just entered. I don't know what's happening. Can you give me a rundown, Tom?
Oh, hi. We're doing a lot of stuff, my friend. We just kicked off a game jam. It's a game jam about fire. That's the theme, is fire, and we're going to try to attempt to. So at the end of the jam, everyone's going to vote on the winning entry, and we are going to try to publish the winning entry on Steam with Philly Game Mechanics. So that way.
So you're just like brainstorming the game mechanics right now?
Yes. So this is just kind of brainstorming different interpretations of the theme, either mechanically or aesthetically or thematically or whatever way that you would like to brainstorm ideas. I wrote cool ideas on it. I can delete that. I just needed to test. I don't know. Ooh, you can.
Big.
What are we doing? We are brainstorming ideas for the Fire Jam. We just revealed the theme of fire, and we were just drawing things and writing down some different ideas. We're gonna meet up here in just a few minutes to just kind of pan around, and thanks to some of our friends here, we have a few different text chats that have been broken down. We'll have someone talk about that here in a little bit. Oh yeah, do you want to just go ahead now and describe it? And if you want to keep writing down ideas, you can do that for like 2-3 more minutes, and then we'll kind of officially like break, and then yeah, we'll switch into discussion mode, and go from there.
I had my wisdom tooth surgery today.
No.
Yep.
Are you okay, my friend? The little voice chats listed below to talk about the ideas that are listed in those quadrants.
Okay.
Ah. Nice. It's a long hike. Yeah, and I think we can go ahead. My timer says we're right about there. So yeah, let's go ahead and people want to kind of transition from writing down different ideas and organizing them in things. And yeah, let's go ahead and if any of these ideas, whether it's yours or someone else's, kind of calling to you, go ahead and join one of those groups. And that will just be a little bit easier. It's always so hard to figure out like how to talk to each other in a big shared space. So let's just go ahead and kind of jump into different rooms. And I think, yeah, we'll figure out if we need to reconvene after all this and kind of do a final send-off. But yeah, let's just do this for like at least the next 10 minutes or so. Then if we need to reconvene, I'll kind of like wrangle everyone back together and we can do a final send-off. Yeah, let's just kind of go network, introduce yourself. If you'd like to, and you can kind of go from there. Sound good?
Hey folks, I'm currently muted, or was.
Hello all.
Hey, who had the whose initial idea was it with the orange post-its? I thought it was, and then
the basic idea of just the lights to show something versus burning was my idea, and the tan
oh yeah,
grams.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, these ideas were not mine. I really like the idea. Just with their group, Shadow Casting Fire with solid platform on them. That concept of platforms that were healed by shadows.
Yeah, they can. I
Something
really
in
like
the
that you can take that in a couple ways too. You can go the more chaotic route of just giving the player total control over that, or you can go the more stationary route of whoever
More
wrote that
puzzly.
just at the end, lighting lanterns or torches. That does seem like an easier, definitely an easier way to manage it, which is probably better if time is an issue.
Yeah, because if you're carrying fire but you need to jump on shadows, then if you get close to them, they're just going to disappear. So maybe there's a way you can carry it but also drop it, like if you're holding like a burning stick or something. I don't know.
You could also use reflective surfaces, mirrors, or something to change where the light's coming from.
Yeah.
You know, surfaces and mirrors.
I didn't think about that. That's cool too.
The problem of kind of that torch idea. Okay, the light's always with you, so there's always something illuminating right where you are. Then you can kind of selectively cast, create a path.
Yeah, I think. Or something else you could do is maybe you're just carrying a stick and it's burning, and then there's all these lanterns that are stationary, and a certain combination of them will create like a path for you to jump on to progress. But then there's also a point where you have to drop the stick in a certain place to make like the last little bit of shadow to jump on as the like last step, maybe. I don't know.
That really does all seem to be very straightforward puzzle platforming.
Like, oh, what if you made duck hunt, but when you blinked, you killed the ducks? But I don't know how doable it is.
I feel like web tracking on a webcam wouldn't be that great, but
yeah,
maybe. Some of those things that either exists already, the ability to do this, or else like it would probably take a ton of work, like a master's thesis level of work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would not do it if there was not. Let's see. I'm doing a little bit of research right now.
I think in order to make it work, you'd have to. I'm fairly certain you'd have to have somebody like hold their head perfectly still the whole time. Like, you wouldn't be able to calibrate it with their heads at different angles, and that to me seems like it's just like a non-starter. Again, I'm just like guessing from what I understand of the technology.
Yeah, maybe it would. Yeah, it would depend very largely on how well it would work. I had thought eye tracking came a good way in the last few years, or at least I've seen quite a few games implement it. Like, but
really,
you know, like the blinking thing specifically. Actually, have you ever heard of a game called Before Your Eyes?
Yeah, blinking's easy, but like figuring out what part of the screen you're looking at.
Yeah. That might be a lot harder. Standard webcams. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I would not trust myself to return anything I borrowed. So I would never borrow anything, but so I liked there was like an idea with like, actually this was in the 3 area, but someone had an idea for like a sort of like puzzle game surrounding like the light cast from a fire. I thought that could be fun. But I think there's one idea unaccounted for from the 4 area, which is you have to harness the power of the sun in different ways. Is that person in here?
Yes, but I really didn't exactly flesh that idea out very well. It just, made me think of it.
No worries.
No pressure. Yeah, I actually went second, but there's I forget what it was. One of Jacob Geller, this YouTuber I follow, he does video essays on video games, and he talked about a 3D platformer, so like old school Mario, where you were a candle, and the game played a lot with like light and dark, and you could like use the candle to see further, but lighting yourself on fire cost your time down. And yeah, I've been playing mostly playing like Metroid ROM hacks where there's things called hell runs, which is where you enter a room that's like heated without like heat protection, and so it sucks your health, and you have like a time limit like running through the rooms, and it's really fun. I guess I was thinking it'd be fun to like do something with like how far you can see versus like how long you live, and so by playing the game with like lower depth of field or even in pitch darkness, with limited lower light conditions, you live for longer.
I do think that sounds really cool. That sounds really neat.
It probably has like replayability too, because as you like memorize the level, you probably like just need less light, and so like, if someone were to speedrun it or something, like they would just have the level like memorized or something, and they would just play it all in the dark.
Yeah, there's like the Metroid Dread. One of the early glitches that came out for it was you could lock your camera, and then people would like basically run through the game blind because their camera would be locked in one place and their character would be like halfway across the map. So people were memorizing like a good 3 or 4 minutes of content where they were using like the audio effects to like tell what room they were in, jumping off walls and everything. So it's not like it's impossible to play completely in the dark. The idea is if you had like a limited number of levels and they were memorizable, then eventually somebody could basically learn how to play blind in order to get to the end. And in theory, like you'd want to make it, you'd have to because.
So, one of like my favorite game jam game I ever played, I forget what it was for. It might have been Ludum Dare, and the theme was Let It Go. And someone submitted this game. It was so simple, but I loved it. It was basically a platform, like a really clunky platformer where you could just move right or jump, and that was it. And the longer you held right, like all these words would start to pop up on your screen, and you'd eventually go blind. And so, but then there'd be these pits that you would fall in, basically, right? Because you were blind. And the designer did an excellent job of like creating this thing where like you're starting and stopping because you never want to go blind, and eventually you just have to like hold down the key, and you realize you'll never fall in a pit if you're blind. You just win basically if you hold down the key long enough. I thought that was super clever. I could playing blind is a tough one to design. I feel like there's a lot of cool game jam ideas you could do with the player being blind, but to make a whole game where blindness is a regular mechanic is a little bit of a tough ask. But I do think there's like tons of really cool, like, the safer route, I feel like, is to just have it so that once you're burned out, you're not blind, you just lose, right? You just restart the level or whatever. But maybe it's certainly a bolder decision to go with, like, what's that?
If there were enough hazards, then going blind and dying would be like anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's a pitfall style platformer, then once you're blind, you just jump once, maybe twice, and then it's just game over. It wouldn't be like entirely like, I don't think the levels would be entirely pitch black. You'd probably want to have some sort of like additional cues so that it wouldn't be like completely impossible. But I also don't do, I'm more of the programming side, so artistically I'm not really sure how to pull something like this off.
I kind of like this one. I think this one's pretty rad. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do this jam, honestly. I may have to work overtime this weekend. Actually, it's for a while, though, right? It's a 2-week thing. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much help I'll actually be. I do love the brainstorming process, though. But I think this idea, this, platformer involving, light and sight and how far you can see is a pretty neat idea.
It's really interesting. So are you going by the? I'm just jumping in and saying hi. So you're basing it off of basing the mechanic off of a limited distance.
Yeah, the idea isn't fully fleshed out, so that is one possibility. Like, you could play with like keep your light very, very low to live longer, or else just like go pitch black to like live indefinitely. Or yeah, like maybe some sort of pressure sensitive switch would make sense where you could crank it from like all the way down or all the way up. Or else just like a 3-button toggle or something. Then I was also thinking like, some of the elements would be somewhat lit. So it wouldn't be like the game would be completely dark when you're not on. Maybe like certain background elements could be like slightly more contrasted or whatnot. No, it's brainstorming. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the dark levels in Spelunky a little bit, where it's like you can kind of see and you can kind of navigate if you're confident in the game, but it's much better to carry the torch, but you can only carry one thing at a time. So it's kind of this give and take of like, do I want the fire because it's helping me, but it's also hindering me a little bit. So it kind of plays into that a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah, also if you could light things on fire in the environment, that could be a way to produce like semi-permanent lights.
Right. I also like the idea, this is kind of like bigger than probably the game jam idea, but I like the idea that you would be able to light yourself on fire and go over and light a little fire under like a pot of wax and melt the wax enough that you could go up around and like jump in it and like regain some of your health. But then you'd have to be unlit for a certain amount of time so that you'd be able to like reform into a hardened candle and light yourself again.
Or yeah, you drop wax on yourself, but that puts you out. So
right.
You have to like run to the nearest fire to get lit up again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
But I like the idea of like bringing back some of the candle by like jumping in a pot of wax that you like created yourself. Is kind of fun.
There's a book called House of Leaves, which some of you probably heard of. It's fairly popular back in the day. But there's a scene where this guy's trapped in this basically a cave, and he's reading a book to pass the time, and he eventually runs out of light and has to start lighting the book on fire. And the final page, he's actually like burning the page as he finishes it. And it's just sort of a great like source of salvation is also the source of defeat. You're racing against the two simultaneously.
That's cool.
Yeah, it feels like on the one hand, this is a resource management game, and on the other hand, it feels really existential.
Yeah, that's something which, like, as I think my platformers, a lot of my ideas sort of come up with similar ideas. It's just basically like take any game and then just like make anything scarce, and it's suddenly a survival horror game, right? Like if you make it so that every time you jump, you lose like 1 health point, like suddenly you're in a survival horror game where jumping is a resource you have to manage.
So is this game going to have a mode where you can burn the candle at both ends?
Maybe halfway through next week when the game demo is over.
Well, cool. Let me check with Tom and see if he wants us to come back.
Our Halloween Steam page. Something about like that the description of the game wasn't clear enough or something, and we changed literally like a sentence, and they're like, okay. So we'll learn. I think as we're putting the jam entries here on Steam, I think we'll learn more about what Steam does and does not want to see in your store page
Steam
listing.
is pretty lenient.
Yes.
I've never had any problems with them. Like, they just let you kind of do whatever you want.
Interesting.
I don't think I've had any.
Do you want these folks to come back into the main chat?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. If we can
we'll let them know. All right, everybody.
Shadows into solid objects. I was just sort of casting lines out from the light source, from any corner out away from the light source, and that became too hard to figure out once there were 2 light sources, but I really wanted 2 light source puzzles.
I presume you could just instantiate a thing, a platform or whatever, at wherever the intersection of the 2 light sources is.
Right, yeah, there's probably, if I did it now, I could probably figure out a way to do it, but maybe it was really hard 3 or 4 years ago.
Hey, you all want to come back into the main chat so Tom can wrap up the meeting?
Cool.
Awesome. See you there.
Okay.
Well, other than that,
All right. Well, for anyone joining, we have some news that Fallen Angel, which is from Hunter here, they released this, I don't remember when, on
October
PC.
2020.
2020, but
almost
it's
a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's gonna be releasing on July 19th on Switch.
Oh, neat. Nice.
So everyone, get ready. In a week and a half, it will be launching on Switch. The store page is up, so you can see it. I wish they had like a wish list or something like. You can't do that on Switch, right?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you can, but I'm not sure it actually affects the algorithm.
Maybe you have to be signed in or something. I don't know how you do. Because it's giving me like a little red thing where it's like.
I think it's the like button, the heart. Yeah, it's the heart.
Oh, the little heart. Oh, okay. Well, everyone go click the little heart if you have a Nintendo. I'm not gonna sign. Everyone do that on Fallen Angel. Support our local developers. And then yeah, definitely when you have news about the Agartha release, let me know and we'll try and signal boost that.
For sure.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for breaking off, and hopefully y'all had some good discussions. I wanted to open up to the floor for anyone who just, in case there wasn't like any cross-pollination between the different groups or anything like that. I just wanted to provide an opportunity for people to talk or pitch any of the ideas that y'all talked about from the separate groups. So does anyone want to do that? Kick it off with group 3. Looks like they had some stuff.
Yeah, group 3.
Yeah. So I was in group 3. We were talking about my idea was a platformer where you're a candle, and so to light the game, you're basically consuming your own health, and the longer you leave the light on, or the further your light radius, the faster your health goes down. So it's basically a game where you want to kind of get used to playing with little or no visibility. Maybe memorize a few sections so you can play it blind. What's the idea?
Ooh. That was awesome. Any other ideas from either that group or other group?
Yeah, there was also an idea where you're not like a character made out of fire, but you're going around and you're lighting torches that are stationary, and when you light the torches or the lanterns, what have you, they create shadows, and the shadows you can jump on. They become solid, or not solid, but shadows, and then you can find a path out of the level by jumping on the platforms. But if you light too many lanterns, then there's not enough shadows and you can't get out. And if you're holding the fire, then the shadows disappear. So you need to you can't hold it, or maybe you can hold it, but then you drop it at some point. It's kind of like a puzzle platforming type thing, which I think could be really interesting for figuring out little kind of bite-sized puzzle levels that take 30 or 60 seconds to figure out. But
yeah. That's awesome. Really, really cool.
I'm personally quite behind that as an idea for a game jam game, because that is pretty short, straightforward, and definitely scalable to larger puzzles or anything like that.
I agree.
Yeah, I can't say I can do a whole lot for it, but I would strongly encourage people to, go for that one. And there was at least one other idea, if they want to present it.
Well, I'll throw one from a couple from group 2. Yeah, one was one involved dumpster fires. Dumpsters open up and spew and try to attack you mortar style, and because the arcs of flame would look cool. And of course, you would have the ability to fight fire with fire, possibly with a double arm held cannon, which invites similar ballistic feats.
Very cool.
Gotta love the physics engines on these game engines.
Physics are pure juice. All about the juice with physics. Very cool. Any other ideas from group 2 or beyond? Did we have any from group 1 or 4? I didn't see where people were going, so I didn't see if people were...
Group 4 was the group that presented.
Oh, I see, sorry.
Sample 1.
Oh, I see.
All right, so those 3 games I made. Candle Platformer is Jam Group 1, so you all can use that Jam Group voice chat and text chat that's associated with that for any stuff if you want. You don't have to, but you can. Shadow Casting Platformer is Group 2, so you all can use that voice chat and text chat. And then the Dumpster Fire game is Group 3. So then we'll just delete Group 4 unless another group comes out of the woodwork.
Big now. Or watch
I don't-
Group 4 disappearing.
I don't think I really got anyone to join on my idea for the for like mine and Group 1 on the left, but so I think I might just like put that in my back pocket and keep it as an idea for later. I don't know if I want to like. I don't really have much experience for like on my own or just working with 2 people, so I think I'm just gonna drop out at this point. But I'm excited to see what other people make.
Okay, cool. And I mean, certainly we should mention that. I mean, even within the course of this meeting, a lot of people who are like interested in the gym aren't in this like voice chat here. So certainly, if people have other ideas that they want to pitch or anything like that, definitely put it in the wider community in the Game Jam channel, and you can either do a pitch, either a formal pitch or just kind of pitch what you would like to work on. If you have skills in that area or it's something that you want to try and contribute to in a Game Jam, definitely like throw all that out there. The people that we have right here in this chat are not the only people who are going to be working on the jam. So if you have any ideas, if you want to continue networking, this was just kind of an exercise to get the creative juices flowing and everything. But certainly, like, we don't need to decide, it's a 2-week jam, so you don't need to decide what you're going to work on in, like, the first hour. That's the great thing about game jams is they evolve and adapt, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
On that note, I do think I gotta head out because I gotta go eat something. I realized I haven't
Please, if people haven't eaten, please go eat. And yeah, we'll start kind of wrapping things up here too. If people want to stay on and continue talking about different ideas and brainstorming things, that is awesome. But I think for like the official programming of the meeting, it's getting pretty close to 9:30, which was kind of my target to hit. So before I guess I sign off, I do want to offer one more opportunity. Does anyone have any questions about where to go, next steps for the game jam, anything like that before we break off for tonight? No.
Doesn't seem like it.
Crickets is good. All right. Well, if you ever do have any questions, feel free to ping me, or probably I'm gonna create like a game jam. We have a game jam like role, or we'll create like we have like a mod role. Ping me to start, and then we'll figure out like how to set up like the moderation rules and things. If anyone does have any other questions, but yeah. Other than that, go have fun, get some creative juices flowing, think on it, sleep on it, and I'm really, really excited to see what everyone comes up with. And thanks so much again for tuning in tonight. It's gonna be a really fun jam. We haven't done one in a little while, so I really hope that we get some cool projects coming out of it, and something that's gonna be really cool for everyone to put on their portfolios and resumes, and again, hopefully with the Steam thing, hopefully we can all figure this out together and do something really, really cool all together as a community. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining in. And our next meeting will be the Game Jam Showcase on July 21st, I think it was, right? I don't know, my brain's pretty sleepy now, too. And yeah, we'll kind of check in there. Let me know if you have any other questions. And otherwise, I will see you then.
See ya.
Bye,
You could
everyone.
put your pitches in the
Thank you, everyone, for checking out the stream. If you want to learn more about Philly Game Mechanics, you can check us out on all of our social media, which should be down in the description of this YouTube video. Once this becomes a YouTube video and you can watch it at any time, all the links should be down there to Facebook, Instagram, our website, our Discord channel where this meetup was held. Any of those places, really. Please follow us on all those social medias, and please support. Please become a patron on Patreon or a matron on Matreon, whichever you feel is right. Yeah, really, your support, any community support we get is so greatly appreciated, because it goes to running incredible projects like this. And as you saw in this meetup, we're doing some pretty amazing stuff, some really big stuff coming up. Yeah, it's just going to be really awesome. So if you want to learn more about what we do, please follow us on all those places. Please join our Discord community and have fun with the other game developers there. It's a very positive community. It's a very supportive community. The only thing we ask is that you just be good to each other. And that's it. So we will hopefully see you next time.